thing that you could do, because you're a product owner now and a product management person, you draw up the reference architecture for your product. Like just draw up a reference architecture. I'll tell you how to draw it. I'll send you some samples. So using that, you draw up your reference architecture using the entire stack of what you do. What is the business case? As you said, driving insights for management and trying to see what are the trends and patterns and stuff like that. And what's your business domain all about currently?
It's the domain, like what domain exactly can?
Domain, I mean, like, is it banking, finance, or
Uh, i-
to which what kind of
we
customers?
have a lot of manufacturing
Manufacturing,
data,
right? Okay, supply
data,
chain, manufacturing.
yeah, marketing, manufacturing, sales,
Okay, okay.
different datas we have.
Okay, so then what you need to do is you would need to drop your business case and say, okay, with this data, we are going to be, who are the end consumers of this data? Is it the manufacturers or the retailers or the distributors or the supply chain people or the logistics guys? So what
Yeah.
is, like, who's consuming what? First, drop a technical architecture using an entire box and container kind of model. This database talks to this connector talks to this application talks to this visual front end. That front end creates dashboards and pie charts and all the fancy UI that is
Mm-hmm.
required. So just drop your entire stuff on a large sheet using some UML tooling, or maybe you do it in PowerPoint, whichever actually works for you, so that you can stretch it and see everything on one page.
Mm.
And once you do that, then your job as a product manager would be to ensure that you are adding a lot of value to the product. So create some new business cases, like how can you generate more money from your existing customers? Like understand where does the company make money? Is it by selling data? Is it by selling dashboards? Is it by means of people who are consuming your data? Like where exactly is the money in the whole picture? You just see that. Or if it's a internal like captive model, which you are doing it for your own company, then figure out what is the business case for doing that, and draw up your entire architecture with all the nuts and bolts. And then you start thinking in terms of an entrepreneur, like how can you add more value for the product, because you've been given the role of a product manager, which is a key role. So you are able to drive decisions on that product, and you are able to make build versus buy decisions. And okay, I can remove this piece and then put it using something else. Like, why are we using AWS? Azure has got a better option
Mm.
here. Since you actually have licenses of Azure, AWS, and Google also, you have the liberty to choose between them. Or if you want to do some proprietary stuff and you have the option for doing that, you can actually choose the proprietary option. So you can actually play around with these multiple options. And but before that, it should be very clear in your head what exactly are you doing on one piece of paper. The entire business model should be ready. All
Mm.
the interactions of the various components should be ready. What kind of protocols and message structures they are exchanging with each other, that should also be ready. For instance, how does the database talk to the UI? Is it JSON or REST or HTML or HTTP or XML? Whatever it is, all of that should be very clear. Then you should also know that what are the different databases, what are the different applications, and what are the different servers, what is the homogeneous, heterogeneous mix of, what is on-prem versus what is hybrid versus what cloud stacks are you using, how much of EC2 are you using, how much of like Google Big Data or Amazon RDS or Dynamo, or whatever databases are, or Oracle itself, whatever you're using, have the entire mapping of all the tools that you actually potentially burn there, and see where you can actually add a lot more value. So something that is working like a charm, you don't need to touch that. But just by tweaking a little bit of things in your product, you can probably gain a lot of revenue. For
Yep.
instance, let us say you're selling UI dashboards to customers in Spain right now. Let us say people are watching your UI reports by paying you money and watching in Spain. And by tweaking a little bit more, you can probably publish it in Turkish, and then maybe Turkish customers might be interested in that data. Or if you do a language translation, maybe Japanese or Russian guys might also be interested. So like something, and then that can throw up more channels of revenue by some small changes. Like if you do those changes, then you can actually attract more
Yep.
revenue opportunities. So if you do this and get your team to do the POC on this and showcase it and actually get it done, then your management will be like, oh, okay, great. given Hari a great job, and he's able to think like an entrepreneur. He's looking like an entrepreneur who's looking at building new revenue engines, growth engines within the company. He is actually helping us create revenue models and all that, and then that becomes your next stage of growth. So if you're able to pilot a few of those kind of things like a POCs or something like that, even just one or two, if you're able to do, then that assures you of your promotion, it assures you of your visibility in the next level. So I've seen that guys who actually are driving those kind of initiatives, they get promoted faster, they get higher visibility, and even if people fail to recognize you in the current company, somebody else will take you, saying that, yeah, great, you have actually done this, we need people like this. So for that, what I suggest is, as a homework, go ahead and write down your entire reference architecture and look at all the possible means of how the company is currently making money and how you can possibly improve the various growth engines, and what are the different channels that you would actually improve to improve the bottom line or the top line. So you can actually do that, and once you do that, people will start recognizing you, and they'll know that, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about, he knows the business side of things, we can give him bigger problems to solve, and then you become like a blue-eyed boy of the management. And like they start trusting you and giving you more work, and that leads to more visibility, better success, and all of that sort of
Yep.
stuff. So and then I'll tell you strategies on how you can improve your visibility by using some very innovative ideas in product management on how you can improve your stack by comparing at competitive intelligence, like who are the competitors in your space, look at what they are doing and look at what you're not doing, and how do you kind of match up, and how effectively are you able to drive those solutions with lesser cost on the pocket, and all of that sort of stuff. So if you're able to kind of do those things, then you get pushed into a better position already, and you would be doing justice to your current role of product management. Since how long did you jump into the product management thing? Is it a few months or
Mm, It's few months. That's it. I think earlier I was architect, as I said, and I was working majorly on like implementations and designing the areas of CI/CD or observability or something like that, more on the DevOps and Azure platforms. But now only I was able to I had a small training from SAFE on the PM and PO, and that's where I have been moved there. Now I need to work on that angle. Uh,
Yeah, I think you can also look at competitive intelligence, and I'll also tell you how to use Gen AI tools to
mhm.
do your job better, so that you
Okay.
get a lot of inputs, and how to go well prepared for these product management discussions. And because you will be in a driver's seat, you're supposed to
Understood.
show more initiative because you're like a leader now. Because if you say certain things and tell this is the way to do it, people will follow you. But
Yeah.
for that, you need to have your content ready, and you need to do that. So as the first step, I would suggest create your reference architecture.
Hmm.
Look at all the possible means by which you're currently making revenue, and what are the newer ways in which company can make revenue for itself. Sometimes some things could be very out of the box, like it may be beyond at a CEO, CTO level, doesn't matter. But if you're able to think about it, think very loud, and then be bold enough to look at
Hmm.
it, and slowly start implementing on those things, and then management gets confidence on you, customers get confidence in you, and then that leads to it, like a chain reaction, and then it becomes a much better
Yeah.
place to be. So I
Understood.
think this is one way of approaching how you can actually grow up. And since you are there in the career, like, well, you can do this in your current role, and meanwhile also keep looking at other options, like
Yep.
what is there elsewhere. And this itself, whatever work you're doing right now, will move you into the other thing also. So if you
Understood.
do this quite well, then you have solid experience that you can take this and then become a product manager in some other infrastructure company,
Yeah.
which is creating infra tools.
Understood. Yep.
Makes sense, right? So these tactics are doable. What do you feel? They are quite doable, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's doable, actually.
Okay, good, good, nice to know that. And anything else that you want to ask at this point of time? But next meeting, I would want you to prepare your entire reference architecture, look at how things are making money for you,
Yeah.
and then I'll suggest you how you can use Gen AI tools to come up
Mm,
with radical ideas for product management, how to shine as a product management individual, and what are the kind of thought processes and rationale that you will adopt to become a good product management PO, like product owner, basically.
yeah, understood. Mm,
That sort of stuff. What should be your rationale? How much of
mm,
you should be focused on agile methods? I see you're like basically safe agile already. So how do you use the concept of going from strategy all the way down to the building blocks,
yeah.
and how do you create those release trains and all of that sort of stuff? Basically, how do you capitalize on a market winning idea and you translate into action, that sort of stuff. So we will do that. So, and if you're able to articulate all this quite well,
Mm,
then yes, you get pushed into a leader immediately.
sure. I'll take that feedback. I'll inculcate it.
Anything else, Hari, you wanted to ask me at this point of time?
No, Kiran. I think this is
Okay.
what I just wanted to
So
check
I
with
think
you.
I will then stop it for right now.